everybody, it's Mickie Giacomini, and this is Let's Talk Shop. Today, I'm telling you, you're going to learn so many new tips that tonight you're going to get the best sleep of your life. Woo! Right? I know you will. That's because we've got back Iselin Annonio, and she is a health and wellness expert. She knows some great tips on how you can get a better night's rest. I'm so excited that she's back with us today. I mean, I'm losing sleep over it. So without further ado, let's get her on in. So Iselin, how are ya?
I'm doing great. Happy New Year. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, absolutely. Happy New Year to you. I'm so excited that you are back and sharing some great tips on an area that a lot of us really struggle with. I know I shared with you before, I am extremely talented at sleep deprivation. I'm very good at it. And it's one of those skills that I really need to lay to rest, right? But literally and figuratively.
Yeah. I've been coaching on insomnia for a while now. And what I find in my health coaching too, is that if people don't sleep, sleep is sort of the foundation of our choices. So when we sleep well, then our choices get better. We're more mindful of our eating, we exercise more, our mood is better, maybe we are a little more careful with our money. We just function better in life. Quality of life gets better when we sleep. When we don't sleep is when I feel like things start to spiral out of control. And so when somebody comes to me for coaching for stress or weight or anything like that, the first thing I like to talk about is how well do you sleep? Because if we can start talking about addressing insomnia or sleep issues, everything else becomes so much easier. And so what I want to talk about is some things that people may not know about that are impeding getting a good night's sleep. So The first thing I'm going to talk about is hygiene. And you may have heard this term before, sleep hygiene. And it's kind of a strange term.
Like clean sleeping?
I always think of my teeth when I think of hygiene. But that's a term that's used in the insomnia world. And it has to do with your environment. So it's the reason our bodies sleep is because our body temperatures drop. And how we set up our environment in terms of the temperature in our bedroom, if our temperature in our bedroom is too high, it prevents our bodies from falling asleep. It's just too warm. So you may notice in the summertime, you may not sleep as well, especially if you don't use the air conditioning. Temperature is too high. If you have, in the wintertime, if you have a lot of comforters on, then your body temperature, it just gets too warm. It can't drop.
So is that why I'm like totally cozy at first and then I'm just ripping everything off like in the middle of the night?
Yeah. And the other thing that happens to women is menopause. A lot of times women develop insomnia when they're going through menopause because our body temperatures are going up and they're fluctuating so much that it doesn't allow us to stay asleep. It wakes us up.
Come on. I mean, if that's true, then I've been going through menopause since I was 12.
Well, you're early developer.
What do they call that? An early bloomer.
There you go. The other thing in terms of hygiene is how much light you have in your room. So if you're somebody who doesn't use curtains or blackout curtains or anything like that, when the sun comes up, the body says, okay, time to wake up. I see light. So a lot of what helps us fall asleep is melatonin. You guys have heard this before. Melatonin is actually naturally produced in the body, in the brain. And so when the eyes see light, means stop producing melatonin, means wake up. And so if you don't have shades in your bedroom, light comes on at 6 a.m. sometimes, body, it's time to wake up. And so having curtains on sometimes is really helpful with staying asleep. It really depends on kind of how you are as a sleeper. Are you somebody who falls asleep easily, but then wakes up? Or are you someone who takes a long time to fall asleep? So there's different kinds of sleepers. The other thing is sound. So some people are light sleepers, they're sound sensitive. And so if you hear every creak in the house, if you hear every car that drives by, every horn, everything, then maybe some white noise to kind of block all that out to help you sleep a little bit better.
Okay. What if you are a combination of all of that and then some?
Yes, and caffeine's another one. So depending on how much caffeine we drink, that could impede our sleep as well. So that's kind of the sleep hygiene. The other thing that's fascinating to me is that everyone gets stuck on this 8-hour idea. If I don't sleep for 8 hours, then I must have insomnia. And what I'd like us to do is really throw the number out the window. There is no blanket number for everybody.
Woo!
Yes, woohoo! Because
I know, because I'm always like, I couldn't even tell you the last time I got 8 hours of sleep, maybe 8 years ago.
Yeah, and I've coached a lot of people who came in and said, I'm not getting 8 hours. When I said there is no 8 hours, they then realized maybe I don't really have insomnia. Maybe my body only actually needs 6, but I'm striving for something that's not right for my body, and therefore I feel like there's something wrong. So there's no such thing. Everybody needs different amounts of sleep, and one of the things that I do is help people figure out what that is. And we do that through some sleep logs and some sleep efficiency, doing some calculations to figure out what your body needs to be most efficient in bed, so you're not awake in bed all night, that you're really in bed and sleeping. So we do that through logging. That's the best way to do that.
Well, that's good, because then you can track it and see different correlations, I would imagine.
Yes. Yeah, so what we track is when you went to bed and when you fell asleep. And then how many times did you wake up? And during the night, when you woke up, how long were you awake? What did you do when you're awake? Are you getting back on your devices? Is the TV coming on? You know, what are we doing? And then we're going to start to figure out a number to start with. The other thing too is a lot of times people who suffer from insomnia, or people don't have good schedules. A lot of times retired people have really bad insomnia because they no longer have a time to wake up. When we don't have a time to wake up, then our body really struggles. It kind of wants some structure when we're suffering from insomnia and trying to sort of handle it. We want structure, wake up at the same time every day. Sleeping in on the weekend really throws our body off. And so what I coach people on is we wake up at the same time every day, whether we're on vacation, whether we're working, doesn't even matter.
Yeah.
Same time every day. And then we back it out from there. So the body knows what to expect. Time to wake up, alarm goes off. And so for people who threw the alarm away when they were into retirement, that's a tough sell sometimes, to be willing to, let's get some structure back, because that's really what our bodies want for sleep, is some structure.
I know, but I mean, there is something luxurious about knowing you can sleep in, right?
Yes. And so that's just because of insomnia. If you're somebody who doesn't suffer from insomnia, that's not a problem.
Oh,
but we're talking about people who suffer from insomnia, then unfortunately, in order to get us back on track, maybe not forever, but let's get us back on track to sleeping better, we just start with having a structured time and when we're going to wake up.
Oh.
And then the other thing that may be surprising to people is those sleep medications may be impeding sleep when we use them long term. So sleep medications can work really well for short term. When we start using sleep medications long term, they actually start to impede us and create more insomnia. So one of the things I like clients to talk to their doctor about is tapering off those medications, and then looking at the log and looking at other behavioral ways that we can improve sleep without the medication. It's always surprising. But they really are for short-term use, up to 3 months maybe, short-term use for those medications. After that, we want to look at the behaviors around insomnia and sleep so that we can get the best sleep that we can get long-term.
That's amazing to hear, because I was going to ask you, now this is me personally, on a typical night, man, I hit that bed, that pillow, and I crash out. But then 2 hours later, I'm awake and I cannot get back to sleep. So I was actually going to ask you if there was something out there that you can take that would just be for a short term, because I'm always afraid to take something that you're supposed to give 8 or so hours to. Anyway, so you're saying really none of that is very good for you. It actually hinders the process of.
Yeah, so you hear the melatonin supplement a lot. And what melatonin does is melatonin helps drop the body temperature, right? So we know that in order to fall asleep, we need to have a drop in body temperature. And so it helps us fall asleep. But melatonin doesn't help us stay asleep. And so that's when we want to look at kind of our sleep efficiency and our sleep log to see if we can start building a term I like to use is called sleep pressure. And so what we do is we sort of narrow the amount of time that we're in bed trying to sleep, if you will, so that our body gets so overly tired that the only choice it has is to fall asleep. And then we do that to start to break that cycle, because the other thing that happens too is a lot of times when people suffer from insomnia is the way that they view the bed is it's a dread. I'll say, how do you view the bed when you're about to go to sleep? Anxiety, worry, stress, a wakefulness. And when our mind starts to do that, it wakes it up. So it's called an association. So I associate the bed with worrying, anxiety, problem solving, right? I solve all my problems during nighttime, right? And it's not sleep. And so
right.
I'm going to spend
it's
another night
hard to
awake.
solve all the world's problems overnight. I mean, come on, people.
Yeah. And so then the body and the brain realizes when I'm in bed, I'm awake. Right. And so we want to do is break the cycle. So we build that sleep pressure so that we're so exhausted that when we do sleep, it is when we get in bed, we are asleep. And we start to reframe the mind. It's behavioral. So we need to create a new lifestyle around sleeping.
Okay, so I'm going to confess, because I'm thinking I think I have a lot of pressure. I don't know. So like, I will not sleep for 2 or 3 nights at a time. I have trouble I can get to sleep, I just can't stay asleep. Yeah. And then I'm just beyond exhaustion. And then it's like about the 3rd or 4th night, I'm just like, I crash, and then I'm out. And it's like the best sleep I've had in ages, right? I get more sleep in that one night than I have the entire week before. Is that what you're talking about? Is that what this sleep pressure thing is?
Yes, it is. And what I'd like you to pay attention to, because you said you slept better last night, pay attention to how you sleep tonight.
Okay.
It wouldn't surprise me if you didn't sleep well tonight.
Yeah, that's the typical pattern for me.
Yes.
Not sleep, not sleep, not sleep, crash. Not sleep, not sleep, not sleep, crash. That's very typical. And I'm exhausted. And I don't have time for that because, like everybody else, man, I got a life to live, things to do, man. I don't need to be tired. Of course, a lot of people are like, oh, good, because it calms your energy level down a little bit.
So what we'd like to do is create more of this in sleeping instead of this in sleeping. Like spikes. The spikes and the ups and the downs. So have more. So we would want to, tonight, we would want to start building some pressure. And even on, like last night, I would have loved to have you slept less, because then you would sleep better tonight. I know it's crazy. But
how about my sleep?
And that's better tonight.
Sleep, I will sleep less tonight. I already know I will. So, but I do find
the log really becomes vitally important. And when I coach people, we do the logs for every single night, and it only takes, less than a minute to fill out the log every night, so that we can really get a sense as to what's happening with the sleep and start problem solving where we need to go. And so that we can create more of rolling hills, if you will, with your sleep, so that you're not having these dramatic ups and downs. So you're not dreading, now tonight, I know I'm not going to sleep well. There's a psychology that goes along with that. Therefore, I won't sleep well tonight, so therefore that's true.
Right.
So one of the things I do is reverse psychology. So the more we want to sleep, the less we will actually sleep.
Okay, I was fixing to ask you that, because I mean, I'm sure there are bazillions of people out there watching us right now wondering, why is it that they crave sleep so much? Why is that?
When we get into that desperation of sleep, we're tired. I desperately need to sleep. I have a presentation tomorrow. I need to perform well. I have an interview. I need to sleep. The more we battle it, the less we sleep. I do this with my children. They'll wake up and say, Mommy, I can't sleep. I say, you stay up all night. You don't have to sleep at all. Guess what? They never come back out again. Never. They fall asleep because we let go of that rope, if you will. Say, I can stay up all night. And when I stay up all night, I won't die. I'll be tired, but I won't die. I will survive this. And the body is allowed to sort of relax, because we have so much anxiety and pressure that we're putting mentally on ourselves to sleep. And it just doesn't work.
Okay.
We have to sort of back
So
ourselves out of it.
what I'm hearing from you is that tonight when I can't sleep, I'm going to call you and you're going to say, oh, fine, just stay up all night.
Stay up all night. Yes, that's right. Stay up all night. Yep. See what happens.
Maybe you just need to record that for me.
Stay up all night.
So it's psychological. The
It's
more
very
we try to
psychological.
conform to what we believe we need with sleep, the more anxiety builds up and all that, and then we can't.
That's exactly what's happening.
Okay.
So we have things like the sleep hygiene will help us with the behavioral piece, the physical behavior piece, and then we have the mental piece to work on as well and work through it. That's what the sleep pressure helps us do, is break that cycle of insomnia, and then we can work on how we're viewing it, because we can start to reframe our thoughts into something more positive about sleep. And that really helps our body relax into it.
That, I'm telling you, mind blown. I am just going to tell myself I don't need sleep anymore. And then I'm going to zonk out all the time.
That's right.
I'm so excited.
That's right. Yeah. And what I have found is that there's not a lot of information out there on sleep and how do I get better sleep besides the physical, your temperature, your caffeine, the light, that sort of thing. But there's so much more to it than that. And I feel like there's a gap there, that people really want to get sleep. They just don't know how to go about doing that. And so finding a program to do that is great.
That's amazing. I think so many people can just really glean a lot of benefits from learning more from you about this, because I mean, I knew about the caffeine and I kind of knew about like exercise late at night and so forth, but some of these things that you're discussing, that the whole sleep hygiene and all that, wow, I mean, it's amazing. And the whole psychological part of it, just
there is.
I think we're getting so into our heads.
We do. That's what's impeding us, is our head. Right. So we just reframe it.
Okay. And then on average, I'm not going to say, oh, an absolute time frame, but like on average, how long does it take somebody to, I don't know, I guess in my brain, I'm thinking of reprogramming your brain so that you can get past those bad habits and then be able to sleep. How long does it normally-ish take somebody to do that, to get through something like this?
What I have found is that when we're really working through the log and starting to look at how efficient we are and adjusting the times that we're doing it, it takes about 2 weeks where people start to say, oh, what, I'm sleeping better. So because of the behavior and the lifestyle, it's that people start to sleep better, but then it's really easy to fall back into our old routine again, and then our sleep starts getting worse again. So yes, we're starting to get better after 2, 3, 4 weeks. People are doing really well a lot of times. And then they think, oh, I'll just go back to, not having an alarm again, and the way having my technology TV in bed.
Oh man.
I'm going to try to sleep more, if you will, catch up on all that sleep I've lost all these last 12 years. Right. And so we go back. And so it's really sort of keeping up with all of those things that we put into place so that we really can sleep better long term. But it really happens fairly quickly, which is amazing. You can feel better quickly. It's amazing. It's encouraging. Yeah.
It is. That is amazing. 2 weeks? I mean, come on.
Yeah.
If I could have better sleep in 2 weeks, I know I would be all over that. I mean, it's great. I know so many of you out there watching this episode right now are going, oh my gosh, I got to talk to her because I want to sleep, and this is going to be amazing. How can people find out more about getting more information from you and learning more from you about sleep deprivation and conquering it, and so they can have a successful 2020 full of good night rests?
So they can
sleeping.
So they can reach out to me through my website, which is silverworkshealth.com. They can email me at silverworks@gmail.com. They can find me on Facebook. They can text me, make a call, anything. Everything's on my website or on Facebook. So reach out to me, however, even just to have a brief conversation about maybe some things you can do to start with, to start to feel a little bit better. And we can just talk through it and see what might be the best option for you. There's lots of options out there for reaching me.
Wow, fantastic. Thank you so much. This really is an important topic, especially for health and wellness, because not only, in my humble opinion, does it affect you um, physiologically, right? But also when you are somebody who has a business to run, or maybe you're a stay-at-home parent, you're trying to take care of people, or you're a caretaker, or you have a job, or things to do, projects to do, you know, whatever it is, you got to be able to have all your faculties about you. And if any of you out there that are watching, if you're like me and you have those days where you're just so exhausted from lack of sleep, I mean, we know the difference it can make when you do get a good night's rest. So let's all make sure that we're contacting silverworks.com, right? Silverworkshealth.com. And yep, and get more information on Iselin's really great program. We're going to conquer that insomnia in 2020. Right on.
One night at a time. That's right.
That's right. Well, thanks so much for being on today. I appreciate it. And I know all of our viewers do too. And we'll look forward to having you back again soon.
Wonderful. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Thank you. All right, everybody. So make sure you're contacting her today and get more information so that you can get a better night's rest all year long. All right. See you all next time, everybody. Bye-bye.